I am a little bit nervous. This thing's starting to lose its shape a bit. I gotta get out of this shit.
Holy crap, my goodness, it's massive.
I've just been dropped off on the remote west coast of New Zealand. I got 2 bags. I got to improvise a raft to go down this river for a couple of days, and I'm going to try and find a safe place to camp. And I've got no food, but I've got a bow and some limited fishing gear. And then when I'm done, it's too remote to hitchhike out of this place, so I'm probably going to have to hike over that range there, get to a road on the other side. I haven't made a raft like this since I was a little kid, and I actually used a different method. I'm going to use these inner tubes and then wrap them up. Geez, they're bloody lopsided tyres. Check them out. Like thin, thick, bloody wind strong. I want to try and keep the rubber on the top so it doesn't pop. That's a real risk. I don't want to pull them too tight because I don't want to damage the rubber. So I've got to operate here in a national park, so there's a lot of restrictions. I can't cut timber, so I brought this from home, and these are kind of like the end boards for the raft. It is a bit dodgy, but I think it'll do. It's not the greatest tightness of fit, but it's been blowing so much it's been hard to do properly. I'm running out of daylight too, so I'm going to try and pack up, plunk my bag on and get going. I have double bagged my dry bags, because basically I've got to be prepared that this thing could just fall apart the instant I hit the water. So I've got a relatively safe stretch down there, and I can sort myself out on a bank down there. So I'm just going to have to be super conservative with how I do this, because there's a lot of unknowns, particularly in that first minute when you hit the water. It just could all go to poo. All I've got on me is a knife and my Zoleo, and that's a hell of a lot better than nothing, believe me. So at least I can call for help if I lose everything. This river is normally a little lower than this. That's just because it's been raining, and I could see the little tributaries coming in full of brown water.
Because I didn't get dropped as far down the road as I planned, I didn't look at this stretch of the river as closely on Google Maps, so I'm a bit more tentative about it.
Got an exit point down there if I need to. So I'm actually going to paddle straight across and get into an eddy so I can look at the neck bit down. All right, here we go. My butt's wet already. Yeah, it's fairly swift moving, that's for sure. I'm gonna dodge this log. This thing is definitely not suitable for proper rapids. And I'm not a fan of white water either. I've had almost every time I've done something in white water, something bad has happened to either me or somebody else. So I prefer to avoid it, but in this case I'm just using it for transport. Here comes my first corner. I can board on the right, I've just got time. As soon as I can see around the corner, I'm gonna paddle to the far side. Wow, it is beautiful, but I don't really like it. I don't like being on water like this when I'm not that familiar with what's downstream. Snow up on the mountains. Obviously the water's pretty chilly. I can see around the corner. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. Oh man. All right, I'm gonna go this one. This thing's starting to lose its shape a bit. Alright, I'm going to abort this. Like it feels like the tarp's unwrapping. I gotta get out of this shit. Otherwise, even if I go in, I'm gonna lose all my stuff. But I'll tell you what, that is too dangerous. Sorry, I've done this shit before. And you don't know what is around the corner, and it is not worth taking the bloody risk, eh? I am going to pull off here and have a good think. I'm wet, cold, but at least I'm safe, and that's the main thing. In a normal raft that should be fine, but my thing feels like it could come apart at any second, and I wasn't planning to be on this river with this much flow going. Because it's raining, this could like flood, right? So I want to be up off the flat. That looks nice in there. Hey, check this out. Deer. deer sign. It's jumped down from there, that's why it's jumped into the mud. It's gone so far into the mud. That's a good sign. More deer sign. This is fresh too, super fresh. Like, I would say in the last 15 minutes, because it's been raining and that hasn't been rained on. You know, like, they literally could have been here just as I turned up. I feel like I may even just stumble across one because those tracks are so fresh and it's so loud with the water that they wouldn't even hear me. And I've had that feeling before when you know the sign is so fresh. And they can literally, you can almost step onto them. So you want to look very carefully where you go, because I could run back and get my bow. So I'm going to pull apart the raft because it's also my shelter. Right. I'm out of the wind, which is great. I'm out of the noise of the river. More importantly, I'm out of the danger zone if it does rain more overnight and the river comes up, and just have a relatively comfortable night. Check out these ferns, it's beautiful. I don't even know, I'm right on the boundary of shivering. It is bloody spectacular. Snow right up there. It's time to make shelter. I'm gonna go silver side down. I don't know if it makes much difference, but in the same way that a space blanket does stuff, it'll maybe reflect a little bit of heat back towards me. I doubt it, but why not? It also makes it lighter under there too, because it reflects light back and doesn't feel so dark and dingy, and it's cloudy at the moment, so it kind of always feels dark and dingy anyway. I'm glad it's nice and sheltered under here. So I've said before, I had that gut feeling that they were close, just because I could see how fresh the tracks were and the fact that they couldn't hear me because of the noise of the waterfall. And just as I was walking down there, I saw one, and as I stopped, I froze. The sandflies get me. I froze, and it kind of saw me, but then I froze, and anyway, it thought about it, and now it's headed off. And now I could see another shadow moving through the tree, so there's more than one of them. They've seen me now, so I don't know. You're better off not looking too stalky in these situations. I'll just go about my business, and I go, oh, it's just one of those people that likes going hiking, I guess. Who knows? But I don't know. Actually, maybe I will just avoid that area and have a think. So it's been a while since I've been hunting. I used to hunt rabbit when I was a kid with this same bow, and I have got foxes and goats before too, but never deer. Had a couple of dramas with it when I was practicing. It stretched a lot, and I had to shorten it, and then my accuracy went out. Just want to make sure the nock is in the right spot. Yep, 90 degrees, almost. This is a quiver that I made when I was a kid out of a trouser leg of my jeans, and it's not that flash, but it still works. And I've got to put the broadheads on these arrows just so it's ready, because you never know what can come around the corner, like it just happened. Deer are a pest in New Zealand. On the National Parks website called Department of Conservation, they actually ask you to please take deer if you can do it. So they're a non-native species that do destroy the environment here, and they do pay a lot of money to cull them, like the government actually pays to cull them. So as long as you can do it ethically and humanely, which you can do with the bow if you're disciplined about how you shoot, I'm happy to do it, because you know, basically I haven't got any food with me, that's what I'm going to eat, and it's good for the environment to get rid of these deer. And if you eat meat, then really, I can't really see how you can complain, because these animals, you know, they're alive one moment, they're dead the next. And if you're eating meat back in normal society, then why not take it out of the bush where it is good for the environment to have less of these deer out here. Wasn't planning on using a normal fishing line. I put it in just in case I had a chance to fish after this little survival thing, but because I'm carrying all my stuff with me and I have to hike out with it, it's with me anyway. But I've decided to use it because there's a couple of things working against me. One, I got off about a day late on this trip for starters. Two, the river's up, so it's fairly flooded, so I'd be lucky to catch something anyway at the moment. Also, I was planning on catching eels, but I'm not allowed to catch them, I discovered when I went to the national parks bit here, even though the fisheries website doesn't mention it. And also, when I got dropped in today, I was hitchhiking, and I got dropped some of the way down a dirt road, but the guys that dropped me in had to keep going, so I didn't get quite as far in. So anyway, I'm in a less optimum spot with less optimum conditions, and I'm going to use my little rod. It's a little pen rod. It literally comes out of a pen. It's a metre long. Okay, here we go, first cast with this new little rod, and a teeny tiny reel. It's going to cast into this back eddy behind that rock. See how we go. I just don't know whether it's a bit high to be catching fish. It doesn't look too milky, but I just don't know. Trout don't tend to fish well when rivers are high. But I got nothing for dinner unless I catch something, so hopefully I get something. Well, I'm glad to be getting into bed because it's been a really hectic 5 days, and I kind of feel like I'm wasted before I even start this adventure. 5 days ago I flew to New Zealand and did a promotion or collaboration with Icebreaker where they gave me awesome clothes. The ones I'm wearing now, merino clothes, which I absolutely love. Toured around this station, looked at the way that they bring up merino sheep, which is regenerative and sustainable, which is all great. And then I did a test where I wore all those clothes and went up into a mountaintop and survived the night like a sheep and built a little shelter out of rocks and tussocks and had a long night, not much sleep, got cold, which is normal, right? You know, you need an Arctic suit to not get cold at night pretty much if you don't have a sleeping bag, and those are the kind of conditions. So I just walked around for the rest of the night. Anyway, I didn't get much sleep. Then I edited all that stuff, had to hitchhike a bit. You know, it's been really hectic and couldn't really devote much thought to this trip till I was literally hitching out of the town that I had to get out of, and I had to walk for an hour with 40 kilos of stuff just to get out of town. So that's why I've got all this crazy heavy stuff with me, because I've got to carry it all with me. So I'm really looking forward to just chilling out in bed. So I want to find a spot where I can just stay back from the clearing of the river flat. So when it's looking back towards the bush, you can't see, but I can see out onto the river flat because that's where it was walking yesterday. Man, the river is up so much, it poured down last night, all night. It only stops just before dawn. There's no way I'm gonna raft in that. That's the rock where I was fishing yesterday. It's just too much volume, the water's too murky, and from my experience there's just no point fishing in water like this. So the deer aren't here this morning. The tracks from yesterday are rained over and now looking old, and I kind of suspected once they'd seen me, they're not going to hang around here. They're going to head off. This doesn't look like a particularly good area for feed anyway, so there would be no reason for them to hang around with the risk of a human about. So this spot's not looking real great for rafting, fishing or deer in the short term. Man, I think the best idea for me is to just have a good old think, and I'm going to do that in the comfiest place possible, which is my bed, because there's going to be a fair bit of discomfort on this trip. Alright, so here are the factors. The river is too high to raft and useless for fishing, two of the main reasons I came. And that also means I can't use it for transport to get to the deer hunting grounds that I was aiming for, which I scoped out on Google Maps. One option is I could walk there, but then to get out of this place at the end, I've got to hike over this mountain range, and you know, maybe do I head over early, and because I can walk outside the national park there, and then maybe I can fish for eels, and then maybe the days it'll take me to get there, the water levels will have gone down and the fishing will have got better. I don't know, these are all the things I'm just going to think through in my mind. Just going to do a test pull of this bow. Alright, it stopped raining, so I'm just going to go for a bit of a day hike with my bow, my fishing rod, just see what it's like downstream, and then just see what the weather does tomorrow before deciding what to do, because maybe the river's going to come down. This light merino jacket got wet yesterday on the raft, and I'm just going to wear it over the top of another merino underlayer to dry out, because I'm going to be walking out getting quite hot and sweaty, and I've actually got more clothes than I need underneath, which is good because I'll get hot, and but I'm cold on the top because I'm wearing wet stuff, and they'll equal each other out, and this top will dry. Alright, hasn't rained for a bit, so I'm off on a bit of a foraging trip. Check out these fungi. Pretty awesome. I really don't know anything about New Zealand fungi. Plus, it's a bloody national park as well, so technically not supposed to eat vegetation. Which, by the way, you can eat these ferns. They look very similar to the variety in Australia, the soft tree fern, Dixonia antarctica, and I have eaten those. Basically, it kills the plant to do this. I've only done it once. You chop away all the middle of that cabbage. I did this in Tasmania. Chop away right in this middle of the trunk, about there, from about there to there, there's this bit that's called the heart. Heart of palm is another term for it. And it's about that kind of that round and about a foot long. And it does taste pretty bad. The ones I was eating in Tassie were the kind that Aboriginal people didn't really like. They kind of considered it a survival food. But you're supposed to roast it. I tried every different way I could think of, but it still tasted like rubbish. But there is still a fair bit of commonality between plants here and in Australia. I'm further downstream, still feeling good about my decision not to raft. Yeah, I just reckon another 5 minutes and my raft would have pulled apart. All my bags would have just gone into the water, and then it would have been emergency time just trying to get a hold of my stuff. You know, I just would have lost a lot of gear and potentially found myself freezing my butt off, wet, and you know, with all my gear, half of it gone. I'm a bit further downstream. This is why I camp back up in the bushes. See all this flood debris? It's gone right up to the trees. So it was tempting last night to camp down on this area, but if I did, I might have got washed away, because this looks like it was from last night. This grassy country is what I'm after because, well, obviously deer eat grass, and it's the kind of stuff I can find game trails in. It should be nice. Fresh sign, 2 of them. Not quite as big as the ones from yesterday, but this is fresh because it rained only an hour ago, and this isn't affected by rain. Same with those ones there. So this is in a clearing too, which is good. They're taking the lazy option, transiting, so I could maybe put myself up there, wait till they come past. I don't know what kind of bird that is, but it's pretty cool. Doesn't really seem to care about me either. I mean, that's one of the problems, well, one of the reasons kiwi birds are dead, like the moa. I don't know, I'm not no expert at all on New Zealand, but their birds seem to be pretty tame, right? Maybe because it was a lack of natural predators. They don't have like dogs and cats and all the stuff that most continents have. When I hitched in, I heard the guy talking about this, and he said don't eat any animals that you shoot in this valley. That's why I was trying to get over to another valley, so not good. Oh, I'm nearly back at my camp. Feeling pretty tired because after more than a day without food, that's when your body starts saying, hey dude, can you please eat something? And it's a bit depressing knowing that fishing's really not working because of the flooded water, and that little clear bit was nice, but it was very short and there was nothing in it. I'm looking forward to having a lie down. I'm just going back to that same clearing, and the water levels come down a little bit, a few centimetres, because I can tell where my rocks were last time. I'm just going to be quiet now that I'm approaching the grassy area. Shit. Not like that. I just saw a big stag. He's gone now, but I could see the back of him, and he was stopped, and I froze, and then he walked away from me, and then he stopped, kept looking back, And I just kept staying exactly still, didn't even want to pull the camera up. And then he turned right and headed off into the thickest stuff. Yeah, I think this is where he's gone into the bush. It's like really dark in there. There's no point me following him because he's already got the hint that I'm on his tail. It's already too dark anyway. It's probably about the limits of when you're allowed to hunt. And there's no way he can chase him down from behind. Not with all this crap all over me. He had big antlers. I could see the tips of them. I wasn't sure whether they were like these grass stalks or his antlers, but then when he moved his head, I could see him move around. I just heard, I'd say that was a stag. It was going like...
I'm feeling a little down in the dumps about this trip. You know, I had made the mistake of imagining turquoise, calm, river water, abundant fish drafting down with beautiful clear mountain views either side. But just due to the rain and also time constrictions and being dropped off on a different point, a few things, very few of those things are eventuating. So anyway, you get that. I just hope it doesn't rain tomorrow because the river is coming down a little bit now. Not happy, Jan. My laptop, the outside of it felt a little damp and I went to turn it on and the screen's all blotchy. It's a bloody brand new laptop. I had it double dry bagged.
So something really bad happened last night which makes me feel sick in the stomach. I went to store some of my camera card files on my laptop and as I pulled it out of the dry bag, the bag felt a little damp. Pulled it out, turned the laptop on and opened the screen up and the screen was like black with a few blotches of like dark purpley blue on it. So my laptop's got wet. It's brand new. It's like $3,500 and it's got all the files from that last job I did on it. So I'm hoping it's recoverable. It's pissing down rain again. The river's up. So the most important thing though is I get the footage off that laptop and try and recover this laptop. So I'm going to abort this and try and hitch out. I'll have to get back on the road, get all my shit in the rain up on the road and try and hitch back to Tiana and get the laptop in front of the heater to dry out and see if it turns on.
At least it's not raining right now and I'm hoping a couple of cars are going to come along. Otherwise I've got to lug it 11 kilometres that way to the bitumen.
Alright, real nice bloke just gave me a lift back to the caravan park where I stayed before, so hopefully I can get a room and dry my stuff out and see if my computer works.
I don't know whether to be happy or sad. I'm just going to be happy.
It looks like it's turned on. Man, I've been stressing my head off about that. And I just aborted my entire freaking trip. Mind you, it was kind of poop anyway. Alright, so I'm just sitting on a park bench in Tiana now. And I'm feeling bad because, you know, like I was planning on doing this big adventure and it kind of just felt the shit in a bunch of different ways. And I'm like, I'm back out in civilization. I'm like, far out. So I'm hatching a new plan. And you're just gonna have to ignore a few things. Alright, the adventure continues. You're just gonna have to pretend that I didn't hitchhike out, stay in a nice warm hotel room, dry my stuff out, have a nice coffee in Queenstown, hire a car and then come out to the other side, which I was going to hike over the mountain range to. That's where I am now. And the reason I was hiking over the range was one, to be close to the airport, but two, so I could get eels because I'm outside the national park now. So that's my aim right now, is to try and catch an eel, cook it.
Looks a good early spot. There's plenty of weed down there, and I'm hoping that I can rustle one out. So they like to be, generally when it gets dark, the first hour or two of dark and the first hour or two before sunrise is the best time to catch eels. Look, I had actually grand plans to improvise a hook out of these prickles, basically by tying the line on there and having this and this, the sharp bit of the hook, and I'd cut it off there. But I'm just out of time. It's getting dark already. There's these little bait hooks, there's little barbs on the back, just where my finger is. That's helpful because I found some worms just before, and they help keep the bait in place nicely on the hook. I think this weed is called didymus. It's a really nasty one. Once it gets into a waterway, it really stuffs it. This is one of the reasons why they want to inspect your stuff when you come back from New Zealand, when you come to Australia, because of quarantine reasons. Make sure your fishing gear doesn't have any of this stuff. We definitely don't want that in Australia. It's another good looking log. Here's one. Oh, look at these rippers. Oh, just got to grab this big one first. I lost half of him, but I got the biggest one. I couldn't get both at once. I've got a couple of big ones there now. Oh, I got some big fat juicies. Probably put 2 on just because this is prime time. Fresh worms are supposed to be better. Basically, the fresher the bait, the better. So the research goes on it. I've actually found that in Tasmania as well. Okay, which I can go around a couple of times. Look at that. Holy crap. Can you see that? My goodness, it's massive. So there's an enormous eel, like I'd say well over a metre long and around like that fat. It's just unbelievable. It's almost scary to look at. And there's a smaller one that's just appeared over there. It's probably about 70, 80 centimetres long and probably only that round. And there's 2 in the mix. Anyway, chucked it right in front of his nose. I think he might be sniffing it. He might even have it in his mouth. I'm not sure. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Nope. Fuck. Oh, did he take the bait? Nope. So I chuck it in front of it and it just washes away too quickly. So I'm going to go and chuck a bit of weight on there so I can like really keep it in front of its nose. So I'm just putting what's called a running sinker on, which means it can take the bait, not feel the weight of the sinker because the line runs through the middle of the sinker, but then I feel the weight in my hand, so it's less of a giveaway for the fish. So the pull comes straight to me without the eel having to feel the sinker. Yeah, so that's the running sinker. So you got the bait on this end and the line can just go through the sinker like that. So when it takes it from this end, it doesn't pull the sinker with it. So it's more likely to take the hook. Where is he? Oh, jeez, he's right there. Oh, he saw it. My light's freaking him out. He was coming right under the bank there. All right, I'm just going to leave that. I've got one. Oh. Is it the big one? Oh, not good. It's a medium size. Oh no, he's off. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. There was so much weight on the hook, he just spat it out. Damn. I just had a medium-sized eel on, played it for a bit, just dropped my GoPro, and it pulled out of its mouth. Just too much weed around the hook and it must have just kind of regurgitated it. But anyway, it's working. Jeez, just as I'm packing up, I got a bloody eel. I literally turned my cameras off. Just got the one on my chest. Come on, mate. Damn it. Snapped me off. Damn it. Damn it. Oh no. Tricky spot. There's really, I took it slow on the last one and I took it faster on that one, and yeah, that's where the cookie crumbles. They're big eels. Bummer.
So he's chewed through the line. Line's all frayed, and that's why it busted.
All right, it's now in the morning, about an hour and a half before sunrise. It's freezing. It's even foggier, and I haven't seen any eels so far. The moon's actually up. It's a little bit bigger than half. That's not good. Better to go no moon for eels, but I don't really have much of a choice. I've not seen an eel. I'd say that's going to be it. But beautiful sunrise coming up. So nothing at all. So that's the end of this trip. I'm going to fly back to Australia today. And really nothing went to plan on this trip. You did get that, you know, the weather wasn't great. That was the root cause of a lot of it. Yeah, a bit of bad luck. You know, my raft thing wasn't particularly awesome, but you know, with better river conditions, it would have been fine. So you get that, and it helps you appreciate the expeditions where, or the trips, whatever you call them, where everything does work. When you have a couple where nothing does work. Thanks for watching anyway, and I'll see you on the next one.